APBN, John Aikpopo Martins, called for synergy with government in the founder state to create awareness and the need for people to shun corruption. Straight now and erosion. This charge was given by the Senior Special Assistant to Ondo State Governor Aminu Olaiwola while speaking with Galaxynews correspondent. Citing situation at Ijebuowo in the Northern Senatorial District of the state, Aminu Olaiwola said, aside government inactiveness, present situation in the state, and to arrest the situation, he said both the people and the government must put up concerted efforts.
The seat earlier before now, but now the volume of the seats is much. So therefore, we need to take amphibious excavator down to dredge the water path, so that the water can be moving freely. With that, we have a space that can accommodate the.
When we return, Federal Road Safety Corps promises full implementation of traffic laws. Details in a moment. To join us again. Now to Delta State, where the coordinator of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Dixon Aromare, says the ongoing campaign on the ban on phone usage while driving is to prevent loss of lives. He made the disclosure in Warri while the coordinator appealed for cooperation in order to forestall road accidents.
There's no new law in the country. It's just that we have what we call serious laws and they are not properly enforced.
Safety is not for poor, for everybody. Whether you are poor, you are rich, you should be safety conscious.
Full enforcement.
They want to implement it. It's a very good thing. But Nigeria, they are not following the laws. But if they, and that can lead you to another accident.
Staying on the South-South region, this time around we'll move on next to Edo State, where the people of Wekpa-Wano Kingdom in Isaac John Ikimalo, who spoke on behalf of the people of Wekpa-Wano at the 2017 annual convention held in Benin City, called for government's urgent attention to address the issues affecting the schools, enumerating some of the challenges facing the education sector in the state, such as accreditation, deaths of teachers, among others. They also
and then also provide some basic needs, infrastructure in the school.
The Edo State Deputy Governor Philip Shaibu says the state government is committed to addressing these challenges. However, he noted that Edo is trying to revamp the economy through recruiting skilled labor.
And then let's go back to the basics. Let's recreate vocational education and technical education.
Meanwhile, Senator Francis Alemikena on the same issues of restructuring observed that those calling for the 2014 Confab report and restructuring should channel their effort or energies on the committee.
The structure, everything is in the constitution.
Staying on the South-South region, we'll move on next to Rivers State, where the Governor Nyesom Wike has directed the reappointed Rivers State Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice, Emmanuel Agomasan, to ensure the conclusive prosecution of former Majority Leader. Wike also directed the Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice to ensure the conclusive prosecution of Ojukai Flag Amakri, who is standing trial for the murder of an indigent of Asari Toru local government area during one of the rerun elections.
Anybody see how the state will handle this matter? Nobody's above the law. In which time I see the assemblyman who nearly lost his life If you see him now, sometimes he can't even, as if he has some mental problem. And the person who did that is moving about the entire street.
Governor Wike also advised the Attorney General to offenders.
So the issue of people filing an appeal or filing a motion for stop proceedings is no longer an excuse. It's no longer an excuse. We must pursue those two matters for the interests of the state.
And talking health now, we'll move on next to Abuja, where an Abuja-based medical practitioner says the scourge of Williams, who is a strategic member of Cancer Awareness NGO, in a chat with Galaxy's Godfrey Obiamata, says owing to the devastating use of the vaccine.
So I have no regrets. If you cannot walk according to my own pace, then you have to find your way out. But those who have done well, as far as we are concerned, will still come back. Not coming back as sacrifice, no. Not coming back as sacrifice, no. Coming back to do the work they are supposed to do.
But legitimacy and leadership.
We apologize for that slight mix-up. Moving on now to health matters, an Abuja-based medical practitioner says the scourge of cervical cancer could have been checked to a very large extent in Nigeria if the country had embraced the vaccine that is meant to put the virus. With the devastating impact of cancer, advocacy is currently ongoing towards convincing both the government and the people to embrace the use of the cancer vaccine.
There is now a vaccine that is available, and it has been available in the market for over 10 to 15 years, and that has been used to help reduce the incidence and the rates of cervical cancer.
Begin early treatment before it gets out of hand.
Something like cancer, the treatment, the emotional drain on the family, the financial drain on your resources, it is enough to really put you in a very terrible state. So that is why we're saying, let us focus on prevention. Let's focus on early screening.
Last week.
You're welcome to a roundup of major events last week. The Nigerian Customs Service on Monday launched electronic platform for its auctions. Addressing stakeholders in the working of the new device in Abuja, Colonel Ali said the e-auction is a complete departure from manual process of the past that was open to abuses. Colonel Ali further stated that the new device will put an end to allegations of nepotism and short-changing government of revenue through arbitrary auction fees to be paid by allottees. According to Ali, the new approach is to discharge its responsibilities with utmost sincerity.
From the manual process of the past, which was open to abuses, and of course, many of us are living witnesses to that. In the past, stakeholders had accused the service of nepotism, changing the government of revenue through arbitrary auction fees.
There are indications that acting President Yemi Osinbajo might be impeached as the Senate asked him to withdraw comments credited to him that the National Assembly lacked powers to confirm nominations from the President. Senator Ahmed Yerima at plenary cited Order 14 as nominee. Senator Yerima and other senators insisted that the issue must be clarified by the Senate before going ahead with considerations of the request. In its ruling, the Senate President Bukola Saraki said that the Constitution must be respected and laws enacted by the National Assembly.
At one time of the Constitution. So I really don't know whether now the acting president is changing his statement and see how it relates to our constitutional powers, because the Constitution is very, very clear.
In its ruling, the Senate President Bukola Saraki said that the Constitution must be respected and laws enacted by the National Assembly obeyed.
It is therefore my hope, please accept, Senate President, the assurances of my highest regard always, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, Acting President, Federal Republic of Nigeria. though it's taking a while, it's a very, very important matter that I think we need to once and for all address it and put it behind us. Because as a society, we can't pass laws, as said, and these laws are not being obeyed. It is very clear that these resolutions has passed which laws we obey because we like them and which laws we don't obey. That is not the way any civilized or modern society will work.
A federal high court sitting in Lagos on Wednesday ordered the federal government to immediately release to Nigerians information about the names of high-ranking public from each public official. The judgment was delivered by Justice Hadiza Rabiu Shagari following the Freedom of Information suit brought by Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP. The suit followed disclosure last year by the federal government of funds recovered from some high-ranking public to tell Nigerians the names of all suspected looters of the public treasury, past and present. Joined as defenders in the suit are the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, and the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture. On Thursday, the Nigerian Senate passed an amendment to law establishing National Open University, which makes consideration of reports of the Senate Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TET Fund. Presenting the reports, Senator Barau Jubrin stated that the amendment of the National Open University of Nigeria Act is to bring the institution at par with the regular universities in the country.
The suggested amendments reflect the content of the laws establishing university ways of teaching, but will also bring about efficiency.
In his remarks, Senate President Bukola Saraki commended those who worked on the bill, saying the act is important because it improves teaching of students. The National Open University of Nigeria Bill Amendment Act was read for the third time and passed. On Friday, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral President Yemi Oshibajo's approval on Thursday, June 29, 2017. While swearing in the commissioners at the INEC Abuja headquarters, the INEC chairman, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, charged the commissioners to live up to their responsibilities.
Your appointment is coming barely 19 months to the next general election. Our commitment to Nigeria is to make the
And those were the stories that made headlines last week. Over now to enter our foreign news desk for stories from the international scene.
Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe is in Singapore for medical treatment, his third of such visit this year, state media reported on Sunday. Africa's oldest ruler at 93, Mugabe was last in Singapore in May for what his spokesman George Charamba said then was treatment for eye problems. Report says he left for Singapore on Friday for more medical treatment. Information and Broadcasting Services Minister Chris Mushungwe said Mugabe was in Singapore due to be attended by the president because he would be out of the country. Charamba and Mushungwe did not respond to calls and messages to their phones for comments. Despite growing concerns about his health, Mugabe has taken more than 10 trips abroad this year and wants to seek another 5-year term in office in 2018. He has ruled the Southern African nation since independence from Britain in 1980. Iraqi Prime Minister would announce the city's full liberation, his office said in a statement. Iraqi forces backed by US-led airstrikes have been battling to retake Mosul since 17 October last year. Islamic State militants seized it in June 2014 before Sunni Arab tribesmen and Shia militia men have also been involving in the grueling battle. The Iraqi Prime Minister arrived to congratulate the armed forces and the Iraqi people on the final defeat of IS in Mosul on Sunday, the statement said. In the meantime, President Donald Trump says it is time to work election at the first face-to-face encounter at the G20 on Friday. But Trump's position contrasts with some of his own senior officials. The U.S. ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, said the U.S. can't trust Russia and won't ever trust Russia. She told reporters that talking to Russia should never mean that the 2016 election remained an impediment to better relations with Russia. Finally, on the international scene, tens of thousands of Turkish citizens have marched an arduous 250 miles over 3 weeks for a protest in Istanbul on Sunday to demand the government losing its stronghold on the country's democracy. The March for Justice has grown from a modest one-man protest by opposition party leader Kemal, been joined by throngs of disaffected citizens along the way, and expects a huge crowd to attend the rally this evening. They are directing their anger at one person in particular, their president, Recep Erdogan. And that's it on the international news.
And finally, in this bulletin is entertainment news.
Flavor in Virtuous Woman.